This is the world of the campus vets.
This most likely is going to be some type of tumor. By that I mean cancer.
We know that he was hit by a car, and that may be causing blood in his urethra.
They've got a mouth like a sheep. There's a lot of teeth, but very, very little room. My entire arm fills her oral cavity.
At the Western College of Veterinary Medicine, students in the teaching hospital must cope with medical emergencies and worried animal owners under real-life conditions. Sean Young arrives with his best friend, 7-year-old Casey.
Over a week ago, had him outside and he was peeing clots of blood, so that obviously concerned me. The veterinary giant believes that he has a cancerous tumor on his left kidney. He only gave him a couple weeks to live, so that's not really a choice.
Sean is hoping the vet team can save Casey's life. Fleur Bennett is the lead student on the case. She reviews the dog's history with faculty veterinarian Dr. Elizabeth Sneed.
It is in the region of the left kidney, but we obviously have a big mass effect. All right, so are we ready to go in and talk to his dad? A tumor has to be pretty high on our list here. Surgery is an option because you can live with one kidney as long as your other one is functional.
Even though Dr. Sneed provides some hope, the crisis is taking its toll. A herd of muskox owned by the vet college is missing one of its own. Mick, a 10-year-old female, is not acting herself.
Hi, Mick.
Her worried caretaker, Dr. Peter Flood, brought her to the large animal clinic.
She seems to me to be eating rather slowly, and sometimes even I can hear strange crunching noises that I don't think are quite right.
Solving the mystery will prove to be a handful for the vet team. SPCA officer Rhiann Bevan arrives with a cat in critical condition. He's been hit by a car.
He was just dragging himself to the side of the road, and when I got there, I pulled out the spotlight to try and find him because he was right in front of a field, so he wasn't going anywhere.
I just turned on radiology, and we should try and warm him up.
Dr. Rebecca Crimmins is the intern on duty.
We know that he was hit by a car, so he may have internal damage to his organs in his abdomen, and that may be causing blood in his urethra. This is extremely serious. If there's been damage to internal organs, they need to be assessed immediately, or else he's not going to make it.
Sean Young just found out his lab, Casey, has what looks like a massive tumor on his left kidney. An abdominal ultrasound will give the vet team a detailed look at the tumor.
An ultrasound will help to evaluate the density of that structure a lot better than radiographs will.
As soon as the left kidney appears on screen, Dr. Chuck Farrow knows Casey has a big problem.
You can see it's so large that I find it difficult to get it all on the screen here.
We see no signs that anything has spread to his lungs, which is good. And the only thing we're seeing is that big mass. It does appear to be the left kidney. This most likely is going to be some type of tumor, and by that I mean cancer.
Dr. Sneed suggests further tests and outlines the risks involved in removing the tumor. But Sean has his mind made up.
So I want surgery done on because I want that thing out.
Okay.
With surgery scheduled the next day, Sean chooses to take Casey with him rather than leave him overnight at the clinic.
I want to spend as much time as I can with him, because in the event the worst thing happens or whatever, I'm going to feel bad.
Okay.
You know, because I want to spend, I'm being kind of greedy, I guess, in a way, but I want to spend as much time as I can with him, so.
No, that makes you a good owner.
This may be the only time he gets to spend with him. I mean, that's obviously not what we're hoping and not what we're expecting, but you never know.
This is the first time student Michael Tiggeler has tried to get a muskox to a dental exam.
It just makes it a little more fun. You're learning something new, you know, it's not a standard process.
Finally, Michael gets some help.
At this point, I think we're going to go ahead and sedate her now, take a look in the mouth and see what we find.
Large animal resident Dr. James Carmalt performs dentistry on horses and cows. But this is a first on a muskox, and Mick presents unique challenges.
They've got a mouth like a sheep. There's a lot of teeth, but very, very little room. My entire arm fills her oral cavity. This animal would not let me examine her mouth without putting her under a general anesthetic.
It's time for the problem inside Mick's mouth to be revealed. While the team tries to stabilize the hit-and-run cat, vet student Grady Barton updates the SPCA officer.
He's pretty cold. He's 33 degrees, and he's got no deep pain, so he might have some spinal issues there.
Okay.
So we're just trying to warm him up right now. No tags or anything?
No, nothing. There's no loss reports or anything for any cats in that area.
It appears the hit-and-run cat is homeless, likely a street cat. Despite the dismal odds, Dr. Crimmins will do her best to save him.
How about we run some diagnostics, try and find out what's going on.
But first they have to stabilize the frightened feline.
He is extremely pale, so he may have had a hemorrhage somewhere in his body, and so we provide him with supplemental oxygen. And after we give him some fluids, we're going to take him to radiology to take some x-rays to try and assess if he's had some internal damage.
Within minutes, the nameless cat's condition has gone from bad to worse.
He is starting to get a glazed look in his eye. His respiratory rate is decreasing. His heart rate is not what a normal cat should be.
You'd like to be able to work on everything and try and fix everything, but that's just the way that it is. I run into it every day, so it's something that I need to learn to deal with.
Coming up, the surgical team fights to save Casey's life.
Okay, cutting.
In the teaching hospital, the hit-and-run cat is struggling for survival. The vet team hopes x-rays will reveal the extent of his injuries.
Could be why his leg hurts.
The x-rays aren't conclusive, but they do show the main reason for the cat's pain.
This joint here is the hip joint, and it's completely luxated or dislocated. That is the major finding.
Sean says goodbye to Casey. The 7-year-old lab is about to have a kidney tumor the size of a cantaloupe surgically removed.
Don't worry. Try not to worry. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Come on, Casey.
It felt sick. You're helpless and you can't do anything and you want to do more.
Okay, cutting.
Once Casey is on his back, the weight of the tumor shifts, putting dangerous pressure on a major vein. Casey's blood pressure is dropping rapidly.
The vena cava is the major vein in the abdomen, and if you have this big mass kind of squishing it, you're not getting any blood back to the heart, and so it can't pump any forward.
Surgical resident Dr. Jim Dundas knows he must act quickly and lift the tumor off the vein.
Pressure's any better? Yep.
Can I lift her head up?
Yeah.
Over at the large animal clinic, the muskox is unconscious for her dental exam. They hope to find out why she's lost her appetite.
You know, I need her a little deeper than she is.
Okay.
I'm gonna get bit. No room here at all. Okay, so the teeth, I'm just feeling for receding gum lines.
Okay.
Now I've got my hands between the arcades, so if she bites me, I'm gonna get seriously PO'd. What's that? That's a little piece of gum. She's got an open diastema between the first and the second. You should have a feel of this.
One of the hardest parts is simply the size of their mouth. I can barely fit my hand inside the mouth as is.
There's an open channel and you can feel a little blob of gum between the first and second tooth. Okay, here we go. Feel that?
Second, yeah.
Now the question is that tooth loose? And it is.
Finding a loose tooth is one thing, but getting it out is another.
You're right, that diastema.
At the small animal clinic, the hit-and-run cat's condition unexpectedly improves.
I think he's a little bit brighter right now. I think fluids are helping him a lot, and that may just be temporary. He is in shock.
As Dr. Crimmins prepares to hand over the homeless cat, her skepticism turns to hope.
He's doing a lot better. I mean, he's starting to use his back legs. If he continues to improve like this, I mean, he's doing a whole lot better. Good. Just with the
it looks like it.
The warmth and the fluids that we gave him.
He came in here non-ambulatory. He could not walk on any of his four legs, and he's going out of here trying to walk around even with a dislocated hip.
Yeah, hopefully he can just go up for adoption then or something. Yeah, he looks like it.
Look at you, cat. You used one of your lives.
Yeah.
SPCA vets will look the Wonder Cat over and decide on the next step.
Oh, he wasn't even moving anything.
And the cat would always most likely have a limp, but that doesn't make it any less of a good pet.
Never say never. I've seen a lot of animals injured a lot worse than this, and I've seen them make it, and so there's no telling.
See you guys.
Casey's kidney surgery is reaching a critical moment. The surgical team must lift the enormous tumor off a major vein where it is impeding blood flow.
Here it is.
Once we were able to get into the abdomen and kind of pick up the mass and help support it a little bit, things improved dramatically.
That's better. I like that.
Finally, the tumor is removed. But the team isn't finished yet.
We've looked at the liver and all of the other internal organs. There's no sign of problems.
To be sure, tissue samples are taken for biopsy.
Visually inspect all of the other organs to make sure that there's no sign of spread.
Apparently things have gone well, so I'm just going to give him the good news.
I've got good news for you. They got it out, and he's probably getting sewn up as we speak.
Thanks.
And oh, you're welcome. I'm glad. It's a lot easier to be the bearer of good news. So.
I've been sick for 2 weeks with this.
I'm sure.
Well, I don't know. It's just a big load off my mind. Now just a matter of making sure he stays well, I guess. But I can't wait to see him now.
But the waiting is not over. Casey won't be ready to go home until tomorrow. Coming up, students have their hands full in the palpation lab.
It's a little harder than you made it all seem.
Dr. Carmalt discovers why Mick the muskox is having trouble eating.
She has this tooth, and it's on her outside
edge,
and you can grab that tooth, and you can actually feel it moving relative to the rest of the teeth.
Yeah, I'm doing it, yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm going to stick the molar extractors in there and grab the end of those. I'll grab the. Unfortunately, it's going to be sort of a bit of a blinded go because
she's got such a small amount of room.
Just as Dr. Carmalt gets into position, he feels an unmistakable grip on his arm.
Okay, she needs to go a little deeper, please, because she's beginning to chew on my hand. Yeah, picky, right?
Once Mick is in a deeper state of unconsciousness, they'll pull out her loose tooth.
Glad you're here. Welcome to the Bovine Palpation Lab. This is the beginning of the next phase of your life.
Many of these students have never worked with a cow before, but now they're about to get up close and personal with a bovine reproductive system. For the next 7 weeks, they'll be sticking their entire arm up the rectum of their chosen cow.
There you go. Good. She's claimed.
Tammy Orban is happy with her pick.
She's tall, and she got up nice and smooth and didn't threaten to kick me at all. Yeah. I don't know about this Hereford, though.
This one supposedly swings side to side, so I'll be flying in the air.
Some students, like Trinity Smith, find the exercise intimidating.
I have never done this before, and I don't have a lot of experience with large animals, so I'm a little bit nervous.
That's why instructor Dr. Colin Palmer has the students brush the animals.
Those students that aren't very comfortable with cattle, they get more comfortable. They bond with them a bit. They feel, oh, you know, she's not going to hurt me. We can establish some sort of a friendship. So don't be afraid to glove up and get started. All right. Yeah?
We're not afraid.
Rectal palpation is widely used by vets to examine a cow's reproductive system and diagnose problems. Now it's time to take the plunge.
I'm really happy and can't wait to see him.
After getting a clean bill of health, Casey is finally ready to go home.
The hope is that it was something that was localized and that we got it out, and as long as nothing else happens to his right kidney, he's in good shape.
Well, thank you again. It was good to meet you. Hi, little Case. Everyone thought you were great.
It's a big weight off my mind and stuff. I'm just happy to have him back, and I'm going to take him home, and I'm just happy.
Dr. Carmalt struggles to pull out a loose tooth from Mick the muskox.
Oh, stinky. Sweet, that's my first dental extraction in a muskox. I'm going to be famous. It's not even partially rotten, it's totally rotten.
A course of antibiotics will help fight off infection while Mick recovers. Next.
How about that? I'm feeling disturbance. Oh, she does like to swish.
Back in the palpation lab, the students are elbow deep in their assignment.
It's a little harder than you made it all seem. She's like 6 actually not being that bad. It's okay, cow.
Then nature takes its course.
Oh, there it comes. Look at that. She's actually not bad. Really? No, she's not bad. I think me and her are gonna have a bond. It's kind of like a fleshy tube. Porridge in a fleshy tube and try to pull it through an elastic at the end.
Once they have a clear passageway, the discovery begins.
I can just barely feel an ovary, and when you're good at it, you should be able to like hold the ovary in your hand, but I can just like kind of push it with my middle finger. I'm not very good.
Dr. Palmer steps in to show Catherine how to find the cervix.
Slide in right after me.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Sure. So is that much easier to work with?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I can definitely.
Feel the brim of the pelvis and then find the cervix.
Oh yeah, it's like a.
There you go.
Okay.
I'll be right there.
I'm feeling the cervix.
It was just like, wow, like I can do this. You know, this sense of accomplishment was there for her, this sense of enthusiasm. And I really enjoy seeing that. But what I like is seeing the look on those faces when they achieve those goals. Or, you know, it may seem very simple to most people, but it's like, I'm so happy.
I think that's the biggest thing, is being able to take your knowledge of anatomy and be able to find things without having the visual ability to see it. So, and that's what surgery is all about, finding something you can't see.
Well, I think that's good. She must be tired out. Poor girl. Oh.
After a week's recovery at the hospital, Mick's appetite has returned, and she is healthy enough to go home with her caretaker, Dr. Flood.
Hi, Mick. How are you doing? Where are you now? Oh, look at that. Have a good sniff. Can you sniff a muskox?
Reunited with her herd, Mick is back to her old self in no time.
Oh, I'm quite pleased. I think she's sort of integrated herself with the other animals, and she seems to be behaving rather vigorously. I don't think we could hope for better, really.
How's it going there? Well, I've just never really been around cows, ever. Ever. Don't try this at home.